Hey guys, welcome to Tickzon, where we try to turn our hindsight to your foresight. Welcome to the video. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment if you need to have a question. But my name is Ugo, and I'm glad that you're here today as we're trying to answer your question of why have you been overtaxed? Now, the reason why you've been overtaxed typically is, especially English. Most people get overtaxed, especially if they are working part time, ad hoc, or if they're working or getting paid on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Now, the reason for this is because within HMRC, you know, collecting taxes is a very hard job. You thought it would be just so simple, give me your money and stuff like that. It's so hard that they basically made a whole a whole department ministry just for the purpose of collecting different types of taxes. So if you got HMRC over here, Her Majesty's, I don't know, revenue collectors, that's what it is. I should know this. Who knows? It doesn't matter. They ask for money, you give it to them. The IRS in America, all of these different ones. So it is difficult for them to calculate tax. Now, typically, what happens is if you're getting paid weekly, then they whatever you make that week, they assume that that's what you're going to make every week across the year and tax you based on those bases, because how they tax you is based on what you're making per annum or pro rata or per year. That's all means the same thing, just fancy. So basically, they will they charge you. So assuming, let's say you're making let's say £200 a month. At the end of the month you're making £800. So they would tax you based on £800 a month over 12 months, which would be use calculator if you can't. So which would be 9 to 1,600, which won't which you wouldn't be taxed on because you'd be under the personal allowance. Now, if let's say one week you ended up making, let's say, double that, you worked extra shifts and you made 400, then they would now assume that sorry, you made 400 a week. Yeah, they'll now assume that you're now making 20,900, 800 or whatever, and then they would tax you heavily that week, assuming that you're making it, even though next week you're only going to make 100 and next week you're going to make 200 or whatever. So what happens if you have varied income, then they will overtax you and then you get the tax back at the end of the tax year in April. The only way you get your money back early is if you go through your create an account online with HMRC, which is the tax, I think, the personal tax calculator, etc. But you can do it directly from there, or you can call HMRC to, basically tell them to give you your money. And then they'll sort that out with you based on your national insurance and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to take you into a money management tool that I created for you guys to use. I think we've had about 200 people download it, but currently right now the link to download it has expired and we won't release it again till April when we bring in the updates. So watch out for that. It's helped a lot of people. I use it personally myself, and so go into the next one. So welcome to the laptop, or welcome to our money management tool. This one is actually my personal one. That's why it says Ugo Tickzon Mentor. But essentially, you're on a yearly set wage or on a variable month wage. So they like it if you are being paid on a monthly basis or being paid on a yearly basis in terms of your annual salary or your monthly salary. So that's the reason why if you look in companies, if they do a timesheet, they'll pay you at the end of the month because it's easier for payroll in terms of HMRC to calculate your tax accurately. Now, what happens is, let's say, you are, let's say this, let's say per month, let's say a 4-week month, you are making 400 a week. So let's say that's 1,600, yeah? So your yearly income will be 19,200. For the purposes of this, we will choose no student loan. We want to talk about student loan. Now, let's say if you are earning, let's say £400 a week in a month, let's say this is how much you're making, or let's say just monthly you're making 1,600, yeah? So that's how much you get taxed. This is, you getting taxed irregardless of your age. It's just whether you meet the threshold, and then you pay NI, you pay tax. Now let's say if you were making £200 a week, essentially this is how it looks like. So you're making £200 a week, and then that week they will just automatically assume you make this every week, and then this is how much tax you would expect to pay. So you'd be paying uh, the equivalent of, assuming you were earning £10,000 a year, and which would be no tax. So you wouldn't get taxed on that, and you shouldn't expect to get taxed. And then your pay per month would be the £200 per month divided, but removing your NI. Let's turn pension into zero. Now, just to see this in real time, how this works, that's the reason why, especially if you're corporate, when it gets to March, which is bonus month, everybody gets taxed more. It's because, let's say, for example, let's take the typical graduate salary of 27 and a half. Now, per month, let's take, you have to pay pension, so let's say 3% is the lowest typically. Let's forget about student loan in this case. So this is 1814. Now you can see over here, your taxable income per year is 26,675. That's after they take away your pension because it's not taxed. Now let's say in that month you're expecting a bonus of, for simplicity's sake, we say 1,000. Yeah. So you can see that your income, your taxable income, has jumped from what it was previously of 26,607 to 28,675, because they've assumed that you've made that over each month, and that they times it by 12 or times it by 52 is weekly, and then they essentially add that to your taxable income, and then that's how much you get. So that's the reason why you get taxed more if you are earning on a weekly wage, or that's the reason why you get taxed. You got overtaxed, and then typically you get paid that back in the end of the tax year. So it comes in either your March or your April pay slip if you continue to pay, if you continue to work, sorry. If you want to get this rectified, then you contact HMRC. Obviously, another reason why you could be getting overtaxed is if you are in the wrong tax bracket. So obviously this is operating on PAYE, which is typically 1250L. Coming into this new tax year will probably be 1257L. And essentially what they do is that once you pass the threshold, now typically what happens is new graduates, when they come into their new job, in the first month they forget to go to their HR and declare to them what their tax code has been. And then what happens is, yeah, you get taxed heavily, and you get put on an emergency tax code, which is about 002 or something like that, something weird like that, and then you get overtaxed that month, which it will be a killer. So make sure you're diligent on it. Make sure you sign up on the HMRC, create your tax account and all that kind of stuff so you can sort it out. But if you get overtaxed, your first point of call would be to talk to your payroll or your HR, and then call HMRC with the reference numbers that they give you. So this has been Tickzon scheme. We're just trying to enlighten you about things that school's not teaching you. So if you get overtaxed, this is the reason why. If you're working weekly and you would do different shifts weekly, you are probably getting overtaxed anyway, and you're probably going to get the money back later. But if you have a tax account on the HMRC, this can all be done from there, and you can adjust it there and claim back your money. Just claim it back, get your money back, because tax, that hurts us all. It's not nice. I don't want to pay it. We have to pay it. It does our roads. It does everything. Now I'm rambling on. If you got any other questions about anything, because this is about you living a more fulfilled life, let us know in the comments. Subscribe, like. Thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I appreciate you. Hope life's treating you well. Hope your family's doing well. And I know it's the end of the month. It's been 2 months into 2021. It's been a mad team, but you're here now. So take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your loved ones. Yeah, so invest in yourself, your health, your wealth. This is the Tickzon scheme. Bridging the gap that school leaves and trying to turn our Hindsight to your Foresight. Ugo here, and I'm out.